Good afternoon from a very big day here in Orlando. Coming to you from the Schmoofs home studio with some very big news out of Orlando. Out of Universal specifically. Universal has just pushed their plans to the Reopen the County, Orange County Committee, for the committee to reopen all of the economy and everything else.
Mostly just to reopen the theme parks, because it's Orlando and that is our economy.
Yeah. Anything with an attraction, it's pushing to open it up. So Universal has submitted their plans for reopening starting on June 5th, which is 2 weeks away. Less than 2 weeks. It's really close.
They're technically said that like their plans and everything say it will be the first, but they have like phase reopenings within that where they're going to have team member days to try and test out their safety protocols, and then they'll have invited days where they'll be bringing in specific guests in very small numbers. But hopefully the 5th is when the public will be able to access it, limited capacity.
That'd be awesome.
They've said that a great deal, which we think is probably the best thing that they could be doing. And they have a couple of different things they said that they're implementing to go along with those safety standards. I know they said that they'd had a walkthrough last week.
They've had walkthroughs last week and the last few days, including Mayor Buddy Dyer has walked, along with the entire planning committee, has walked through the parks and seen what Universal has done to prepare for reopening. And this is all done in preparation of them presenting their plans. So this is really cool that they're like, okay, we know what's going on. We've literally seen what you're doing, and they're ready to approve and ready to roll out with all of these awesome social distancing measures.
Well, it'll be something that we'll see if it becomes the new norm for theme parks. They're doing some things that already I'm a little concerned by. We saw it at Disney Springs when we went to Wine Bar George. They actually ended up doing kind of a digital menu for food. What Universal stated their plan is to ensure that people don't have to share menus or anything like that, is they're going to one-time use menus. So that's going to be maybe a little concerning in terms of paper use. I think that they might go to digital. But they have said at least one thing that I'm really excited about, and that they're trying to go to contactless paying. And then obviously you have Apple Pay, you have Google Pay, and all of those things that you could have already used. But they're starting something through the Universal app where you can attach your information and you can use the app to pay directly for contactless purchases. Yep. And I'm really interested to see how that works. If it'll work at stores or if they can just do it through mobile order. I think the technology is kind of there.
It's ready. It's
ready to roll. We'll see what happens.
And then mobile ordering. They also highlighted that mobile ordering will be available at numerous locations that already have it, as well as a bunch of other locations that they're adding to it. Volcano Bay will also be reopening, which is awesome. So not just Islands of Adventure and the studios, but it's also going to be Volcano Bay.
And they're going to be taking that Volcano Bay queue-less queue idea to a lot of the Bader attractions just to ensure that they are social distancing. Mm-hmm. And I think that's something that a limited capacity is going to be major for. Because
it's going to be vital. I mean, when they first said that they were opening up Hagrid last June, open in June, right after Galaxy's Edge Disneyland, they said they were going to do a virtual queue for Hagrid, and it never happened. So that technology is already ready to roll, and it's already in it. It's live, or wasn't live, but it will be live and ready to roll. I mean, we've seen it at Jimmy Fallon. We've seen it at, I think it was at Kong at one point that they did a virtual queue. So like now these major attractions are going to be getting these virtual queues, which is great. That's great news for us as annual pass holders, and great news for you that you won't need to stand in the heat. You'll be able to continue on with your day and not stand next to somebody on top of them to do something.
They've also put out there that they are going to be stopping their single rider lines for that same purpose, where they'll group parties together, but they won't be grouping you with someone that you didn't enter the park with. So
that's
you
huge.
Can kind of ensure that you're staying within your own bubble while still being out in public, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I mean, I'll miss the single rider line, but I can get over that for now. They're also said that they are individually handing out 3D glasses to every person as they come through the queues, and they are also removing mist and water effects, not just from queues and areas in the park, but also in the attractions. Mm-hmm. So now you're not going to get soaked if you ride the last row of Spider-Man every time, which is great. It's great news. There's no word yet on how Jurassic Park will operate or the Toon Lagoon attractions, although they are opening Volcano Bay, and they mentioned because of the CDC guidelines that the virus will not live in chlorine or bromine environments. So these attractions should return to normal. Hopefully.
They should. Most attractions, either at any theme park, if they're water attractions, they're usually treated with bromine or something like that, or obviously the water parks are going to have chlorine. And it gives you kind of the idea of a lot of the safety procedures that the CDC has recommended were things that were already implemented at the theme parks. They're just expanding on it. So that's why we are pretty excited about it. We feel really confident about being able to return to the parks because of the fact that they are doing a lot when it comes to these safety protocols, what they already had in place, and they're already stepping above and beyond what the local or CDC guidelines are to reopen. So we're excited.
I've been itching to ride a roller coaster. That's all I want to do. I mean, I talked previously about me riding up to 100 roller coasters before Iron Gwazi opens, and I'm itching to ride a roller coaster, and I'll ride the Woody's Woodpecker Express at this point just to get on a roller coaster. Kristen mentioned dining locations. They're doing the single-use menus. They're doing all that. They're doing individually packaged condiments, and they're also doing individually packaged silverware and cutlery, which is interesting because if you've been to Three Broomsticks or Leaky Cauldron, you know you sit down at your table and you have the bottle of HP sauce and the malt vinegar and all the silverware and everything is at your table. That can't exist in a post COVID-19 world, or
at least not right now.
Not right now. So that's going to be gone. They're also really one of the things I enjoy, which is huge in my opinion, is they're going to be using every other locker. So not just jamming people into locker locations, but using every other locker. They said they're going to have hand sanitizer everywhere, which is great because I haven't been able to find hand sanitizer in stores here. So maybe they've been hoarding it that I can then use some when I get there. Hopefully. We'll see. They said at the entry and exit to every building, attraction, and restaurant, which is awesome.
And that is something that we saw at Disney Springs, or as well across City Walk. They have just stations, just random stations in the middle of sidewalks.
Hand washing stations.
And hand washing stations. So those are things that you can definitely take advantage of, and it's all the self-dispenser ones where you just put your hand underneath.
The contactless, no touch.
So that's going to be really nice. It's a great thing to be able to utilize, and they're really giving people that are coming to the parks ease for ensuring that they are taking care of themselves. Something else that they mentioned when you're talking about they're talking about every other parking space in the parking garage. So even with their shows, they're talking about the fact they won't be doing meet and greets afterwards like they usually do, where the characters will come down from the stage to be able to take pictures, but they'll have extra time where the characters can stay on stage and guests can get the photos that they're looking for, just maybe not that meet and greet experience. So it's
same thing with the parade too. It's a change. It's a big change. With the parades as well, they're not doing any parades. I know Mardi Gras is over, but it's still here in my soul right now. But no parades. They will still be doing the single individual float rollout, but no performers on the streets. All of the performers and characters will be on the floats. So yeah, they've taken these precautions. They've thought them out. They've thought them through, and they are ready to roll. And they're ready to roll in 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks, and to see how that happens. So to recap, Universal is looking to open on the 5th. Universal Orlando Resort opening on the 5th of June, not July, June. So we are literally 2 weeks away from a potential opening, which is wonderful. They'll be doing some previews for their team members to make sure everything is fine, and then some invited guests before bringing in the public. This is big news. This is just literally in the last hour, and it's wonderful that we finally get some little bit of normalcy. I know City Walk's open. We are at Disney Springs the last 2 days, but this is going to be normal Orlando. What is normal?
It'll be nice to see what this new normal is going to be. So that's the thing. This is something that is going to be a drastic change for a long time, and we know that it took a long time, and we know people are still really cautious and don't want to necessarily get their hopes up too high because it is still a really strange world. But with everything that these parks are doing and everything that Orlando and this committee are going through to ensure that it's as safe as possible, it hopefully will become our new normal.
Yeah.
And we're just excited to get back to a park.
Finally. But this also gives good news because if they're opening up in June, July, August, they have over 3 months to prepare for Halloween Horror Nights 30. So hopefully that's coming soon. They did actually mention it in the call as well that they are prepping for Horror Nights and they're ready to roll. So we're excited. We're very excited. This is a good day. This is a big day. Universal reopening June 5th. And we'll be there. Awesome. Signing off for the day. This is Brett.
And Kristen.
Thank you.